Today on Ag Etc., we have a special host, Dr. Dan Thomson from DocTalk, reporting for the 2018 Production Animal Consultation Summit in Oberlin, Kansas, with many special guests. Hear from Dr. Shane Terrell with a recap of the event. Then we move on to many team-building experts like Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Kansas City Chiefs, Burke Teichert with Beef Magazine, and Sam Cossio of Easterday Ranches in Washington. And we'll wrap up with Dr. Kev Sullivan from Bell, Queensland, Australia, talking about heat stress management. Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com. This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine. Your stem cells, your health, your life.
We are in Oberlin, Kansas, and with me is Dr. Shane Terrell, who is a business partner of mine and a colleague of mine, a great veterinarian who has been the veterinarian in charge of this PAC Summit. And wow, you did a great job.
Well, thank you. I've been really happy with the turnout, with the speakers, and it's really been a great day. We love our producers, our clients. Love the interaction with the speakers, and so it's really been a really positive day.
Well, I watched just the steak line, and they were saying there's like almost 200 steaks disappeared, and I'm sure there's a couple of us that had too. But phenomenal turnout, folks, and what we're learning today about agriculture and creating the culture, agriculture. And developing that is just huge.
And what we get to do every day, it's all about the people, and that's the joy in what we get to do. But our producers, at the end of the day, to execute any part of our jobs, we need great teams, great people, and great teams are made out of great people. So that's really been the focus of the day.
Well, and you got it. I mean, to hear veterinarians talk about antibiotics, to hear former ranch manager of big ranches talk about creating culture and leadership. Now to have, Sam come in and talk about tying it all together from a producer's perspective. Was that kind of your mindset, is try to get everybody on board and build to this moment?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess my goal in planning these meetings is just to bring in perspectives from throughout the industry. We definitely have, even within our clients, we've got very diverse operations. Most of them are feedlots, but within those feedlots, what they specialize in, how their day-to-day goes is different everywhere we go. And so bringing in some of those other perspectives, bringing in Burke Teichert that was with Agri Reserves for years, he's definitely a different, the levels within their management system with his experiences are different than ours, but it's very very universal in the approaches, and really can hopefully bring some perspective.
Yeah, and how they treat people. And folks, if you hadn't gone on PAC's website, we have it down here at the bottom of your screen. Go on PAC and come out to the summit. Next year we'll have the summit again in Oberlin, Kansas, or thereabouts. Just check our website. And
it's grown every year. I think this is our 6th year of having the Oberlin meeting. We've had a Nebraska meeting the last 3. When we split the meetings, we were worried that we'd split the turnout, but each of them keep growing. We're matching and exceeding our turnout every year, and it continues to grow, and the scope continues to grow. We got people from South Africa, Australia, Washington State, so
we're growing. Folks, come out to the PAC Summit, get a hold of Dr. Shane, get a hold of myself, come out and join us. Dr. Shane, thanks for all you do, for not just for veterinary medicine and the feedlots, but what you're doing for our industry. You're a leader. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ag Promo Source is a unique group of marketing specialists with one mission: help your ag business grow. Each affiliate has their own area of expertise, and they work together to bring you advice, products, and services. To get started, visit agpromosource.com. Ag Promo Source. Together we grow.
Sure Crop Fertilizers was started by my father, Don Sherman, and my mother, Shirley Sherman. Family business that started in the 80s. We predominantly focus on plant nutrients and what we can do to give growers better responses with the fertilizer dollars that they do, and what we can do to make those things work better for the grower. We're based out of Seneca, Kansas. We work with growers in their soil analysis to figure out what they need, and then we can put those in a blend that gives them the best results, and so that we can deliver that direct to their farm, so that they have those nutrients where they need them, when they need them, and so that they can apply them in a manner that's very efficient to them and works well on their planting systems and what they're doing. Sure Crop Fertilizers has been around for a long time. We always say we're big enough to take care of everything you need, but we're small enough to do it quickly. You can get a hold of us at 1-800-635-4743. Our website is surecropfertilizers.com, and you can always email me at Corey@surecropfertilizers.com, and with any questions you have, we'll be glad to answer it and work with you.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Wheat. Learn more at rediscoverwheat.org.
Dr. Dan here at the PAC Summit out in Oberlin, Kansas, and with me, Mr. Mitch Holthus, the voice of the Chiefs, voice of the Wildcats, really someone that's carried the flag for the state of Kansas, and we're very, very thankful for all you've done, and appreciate you being here.
Well, one of the things I try to do is try to carry the flag too for production agriculture. Wherever I go, one of the things that I feel is a mission is tying in rural to urban. The Chiefs are a great way to do that because of our unique setting in the NFL. Us and the Packers are probably the two teams that can do that, but it's something near and dear to my heart, particularly being with beef producers today. It was great.
Well, you know, we sometimes forget the power of sports and the things that we have that we can help others, but what you can do for agriculture in your position and being able to, coming from Smith Center, Kansas State Wildcat, now with this opportunity, it's pretty cool.
Well, and again, something I feel like a responsibility to do, but we can get so divided, even within beef production, we can get divided, right?
Yep.
But the more unified we can be, sports is a great way to unify. Okay, you're thinking, well, wait a minute. It's also a great way to divide if you're rivals between the Chiefs and Broncos. But it's also a great conduit, Dan, to get a lot of things done and get on the same page. And so I thought, that's one of the things I tried to get done with the message today.
Yeah, well, it was pretty clear, and I think that when people say, here you come in saying that managing at the C level, I think they think about the C-level player, yes, and they really don't tie together the words that begin with the letter C, conduit, courage. And I think the one that struck the tone with me when you started talking about conduit, about carrying on what we do as a heritage in our beef industry.
Well, and I think it's really a cultural problem that we have now because we think it's just about us. And we're kind of the first generation to really think that way. And we need to have a little bit of a Renaissance revolution, that I say, because the only way what we're doing now is perpetuated is to make sure that we can be a light for the future. And as I said in the talk, I think Josh McDowell said it, but our children and grandchildren are a conduit to a life we'll never see. Well, what are we doing to prepare that? Part of our mission here is not only to gain margin in the cattle and put out a good product that people love as part of their diet, but it's also a way of life, a way to do things to help those that will follow us. And our culture really doesn't think that way. And so if we can start in just a room in Oberlin, Kansas and rethink that, or maybe think it for the first time, we can have a big impact.
It's kind of like that disease of me, We think we're the first ones to go through it, and I keep telling people, and I'm a vet, I said, we have the same problems in production. It's just different people and different cattle going through it. Absolutely. And you talked about that. And then tying in the courage to stay in it. The courage to move forward, I think, is really important.
And I think connecting to what I've learned in just the last 5 years, the power of listening. It's being a good listener. Don't listen to respond, listen to absorb. And that's been big in what I'm learning. But then with that, to understand that it takes unusual courage. Because, hey, we live in an imperfect world. Markets go up and down. Consumer behavior goes up and down. But our health goes up and down. And if we can maintain our personal approach and integrity and strength no matter what, then we can be different. We can be salt and light.
KFRM is one of the largest farm radio stations in the nation, dedicated to informing and entertaining rural listeners from northern Oklahoma to southwestern Nebraska. You can catch KFRM in many ways. Of course, 550 on the AM dial, streaming at kfrm.com, or on your smartphone by going to the TuneIn Radio app, or on Ag AM in Kansas on Tuesdays and Facebook every day of the week. KFRM, tune us in. You'll be glad you did.
Hi, I'm Kim Mandring with Hardy Insurance. I'm here to help you with all of your farm and ranch needs. When it comes to protecting your operation and your family, you need a name you can trust at a price you can afford. Call me today or visit hardyaviationins.com.
150 years ago, 50 men rode from Kansas into the Colorado Territory where hundreds of Cheyennes waited. They met on a fork of the Arickaree River and made history. Join us as we retrace their steps at sites in both states, Forts Harker, Hayes, and Wallace, the Beecher Island Battleground and Ray, Colorado Museum, with added events in Lincoln. Join us for the grand reunion of the Forsyth Scouts.
This segment brought to you by Sure Crop, liquid crop nutrition delivered right to your farm.
Dr. Dan Thomson here with Burke Teichert, and today was phenomenal. So today you talked about teamwork and building team and understanding employees, and when I'm sitting there thinking about being on the ranch, or maybe not the first thing I think about is how good of a manager I am with the people.
I think it boils down to a few bullet points, but they all need expansion. I think first thing we need to do is understand the manager's job is to create an environment in which people want to excel, and then provide tools, training, and freedom to do it. And that begins with managers doing the best they can to become leaders. And there are a whole set of skills that are required, and none of us get perfect at it, but we can become excellent. I think once we start building the foundation, it shares with establishing a shared vision. It needs to be through all levels of management, and needs to be embraced eventually by the entire organization.
You said one thing today, that the leadership, the best judge of the leadership is the voluntary following, right?
Right. Leadership, I can't define it, but I think it's best gauged by the voluntary response of those being led. Otherwise, it's pushership or coercion.
I love that word when you said pushership.
or something of that nature, but voluntary response indicates that the leader is having effectiveness, is being effective.
It kind of reminded me of how I work cows sometimes. Maybe I should not be using as much pushership and maybe a little more leadership when I'm handling cattle.
That's probably right.
The other thing that struck me today when you were talking about, hire the things you can't teach, and with the integrity and hard ability to work hard, and those are the things that you have to hire first: attitude, passion. The other things, it's kind of like an athlete. If I get someone who's fast, I can teach them how to hit and how to throw. And when we're looking at ranch and feed yards, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. I think we think, can the guy rope? Can he doctor a calf? Can he ride a horse? Can he sort cattle? Does he know how to fix fence? And in reality, we need to hire passion, attitude, work ethic, honesty, and integrity, and get as many other skills with it as we can, but be willing to teach the skills that they don't have.
That's what I kind of liked, is when you also mentioned that is, here's our non-negotiables in hiring someone. Everything else, we'll try to get more, but it's a bonus. Just in a nutshell, if you were starting out again tomorrow, what would be your first thing you'd run out and do?
Get to know my people and try to let them know me, and just start to coalesce as a team.
Well, you do a lot for our industry. You do a lot for writing. Great speaker, great writer, great ranch manager, and we're very thankful that you would spend time with us and teach us and keep up the great work.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Summer is busy at Tirewater Farm and Home. We have just about everything you'll need for your summer projects, and we're consistently competitively priced. Tirewaters can help make your grass and garden grow. And we have a huge variety of equipment to cut it. If you have a farm, Tidewater's has the products and equipment to keep it going strong. And our expanded parking lot will make it even more convenient to shop. So come see us at Tidewater Farm and Home in Topeka.
My name is Bill Meredith, and I farm about 7,000 acres. We raise about 150 head of longhorn cattle. It was real frustrating for me to not be able to have my hands on it. When I'd come down in the morning, almost cry because my back was hurting so bad and my memory was so bad, and had been to Mayo's clinic feeling like it was nothing was happening as fast as I'd like to see it happen. My land guy come and pulled up beside me and he asked me how I was doing. I told him I wasn't doing worth a darn. He was telling me about this treatment they were doing down there in Manhattan. Anyway, we come up here and got this treatment, put some in my shoulders because I couldn't bend my head like this. I finally started getting my memory back, and I'm able to do about everything I was doing before, maybe more. I went outside and raised my hand and praised the Lord, you know.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Corn. Learn more at kscorn.com.
And we're here at the PAC Summit out in Oberlin, Kansas. And Sam Cossio is the manager of Easterday Ranches out in Washington State. You guys have a pretty big operation out there.
Yes, sir. We got 3 feed yards, about 70,000 head.
Today, listening to you is some of the things that we take for granted in our day-to-day life, and being in this country, and we should be pretty blessed for the problems we have, shouldn't we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have the best country in the world, and everybody should appreciate it.
Yep.
And you know, worry about big things like family and kids and things like that, but we all have food on our tables. We can't be poor here.
Right.
As long as we have food.
We got food, we got a house, we got our family.
Yes, sir.
We got our faith.
Exactly.
And
we're safe.
Oh, I can't imagine. I mean, just listening to you and thinking about what other people in other countries go through, you know, we don't think about, is it safe to go up and get a loaf of bread?
Exactly.
We just take that for granted, and so we're a little bit spoiled. But I liked how you brought up the Make America Great Again hat, and how we've lost some of our manners and things. So when you're talking about your feedlots, how do you implement the culture? What is the culture that you're trying to create at your yard?
You know, what I've done over the years is be as basic as possible and start from the basic things of life, which feed cattle, give them water, go paint the barn. Feed them again, give them water, go back to the barn. And do that 50,000 times if you have 50,000 head, and keep the relationships going with people, connect with people. That's our most basic need as humans, right?
Yeah.
We're a herd animal just like cattle.
Yep.
And yet, when we have these big businesses, we separate. And I think that's what gets us in trouble. We get too scientific, we get way ahead of ourselves. And all we gotta do is take care of cattle like they were meant to be taken care of.
Yeah. So you break it down, you're doing the ordinary things extraordinarily well.
Yes.
But you're making sure that you connect with the people on a day-to-day basis. So I'm going to assume you aren't one that just stays in the office.
No, I spend on a normal week.
Yeah.
My week is 5 days, and on my normal week, I spend maybe 3 hours in the office. And I'm the general manager of this operation. I do a lot of paperwork on the road. I do a lot of that, but I spend half of my time talking to my guys.
That's awesome.
And I spend 100% of the time thinking of them, because they are the ones that make my operation. Cattle don't need me to think about them.
That's so
They're
good.
okay.
That's so good. You know, I never broke that down. 50% of your time talking to them and 100% of the time thinking about them. That's called servant leadership. Yep. You take it upon yourself to serve your people that work for you.
You know, all my life I've had such great mentors as Dr. Tom, as those people that I'm just following the lead of the people that have taught me something through my life, including my wife, my father, my siblings, everybody that is close to me. And that's how we function. We love, and then everything else after that.
Well, you've taught me a lot. You've been great with this group. Folks, come out to the PAC Summit. We have great speakers. We're very lucky to partner and work with Easterday Farms and Mr. Sam Cossio.
The new Better Horses Network is worldwide. Presented by Lucas Oil. Featuring worldwide radio and TV with iconic hosts like Al Dunning, Sharon Camarillo, Ernie Rodina, Lindy Birch, and Craig Cameron. With American Cowboy, Horse and Rider, Brushy Creek, Cavenders, and Ride TV. Worldwide radio and TV. The all-new Better Horses Network.
Valley Vet Supply is devoted to providing information and professional quality products at reasonable prices.
ValleyVet.com, ValleyVet.com, Valley Vet Supply.
Next time you see a beautiful field of corn, reach out and thank the farmers who work tirelessly to raise corn for livestock feed, renewable fuels, and exports to feed a growing world population. The farmers on the Kansas Corn Commission work for Kansas Corn with grower-funded checkoff dollars that support foreign and domestic market development, research, promotion, and education to expand opportunities for Kansas farmers. To learn more, visit kscorn.com.
This segment brought to you by Kansas Soybean Commission. Progress powered by Kansas farmers.
I'm here with Dr. Kev Sullivan from Australia. And what part of Australia, Dr. Sullivan, are you from?
Dr. Dan, I come from Queensland, which is the most northeastern state.
Up where the feedlots and a lot of the cattle rearing is.
Yeah, a lot of cattle in our area. It's a plains land, grows a lot of grain. In Australia, half of the cattle are north of the Tropic of Capricorn. So in the northern third of the country, half of the cattle exist.
Well, today, Dr. Sullivan was here and he spent some time here at the PAC Summit out in Oberlin, Kansas with us, and he talked to producers and veterinarians and retailers and talked about something that's vitally important to the future of the beef business and to the sustainability of the beef business. Talked about antibiotic stewardship. And in a nutshell, you said stewardship is different than judicious use.
Yes, and that's a key point, because as a veterinarian, we've been doing judicious use for 30 years, making sure that antibiotics are used correctly in the right dose, the right administration way, and the withholding periods are being complied with. But that's only a part of it, because stewardship is about working out ways to maintain that the products are going to be available and efficacious for years and years and years to come. So being judicious is part of that, but the stewardship is more about working out ways in which you can reduce the need to use those antibiotics, working out the most efficient way to use them so we get good results, and making sure we get the diagnosis correct so that the correct product is being used for the correct condition.
Yeah, and you know, I saw some differences between Australia and the United States as you described, but I saw some really cool similarities, and the one is get engaged with your veterinarian.
Yeah, this is not going to work. This is not going to fly unless the veterinarians are engaged. And they're a really important part of this. But they're not the only ones, Dan. Everybody's got to be in the boat. The manager's got to be in the boat, the nutritionist has got to be there, the staff, the pen cleaners, everybody's got to understand that and realise that antibiotic stewardship is important, because we've got to go forward. We want to have these products around for 20, 30 years' time.
Yeah.
Not many more are getting discovered. That's the challenge.
Yep, and you start thinking about the pen cleaner. Well, if I don't keep pens clean, we get mud, we get cold cattle, we get stress, we wind up using more antibiotics. And so everybody's role
is involved. So the bunk reader, the fella putting the feed out, the fella mixing the feed, if that feed's not mixed properly, then there's a chance those cattle will get sicker. Or if they're not fed on time, the guys in the processing shed, if they're beaten up on those cattle, they're going to get sick. So everybody plays a part, and that's why you've got to build a team that's inclusive, not just the veterinarian and the manager.
Tell me where we're headed with antibiotics.
Well, I don't think they're going to disappear, that's for sure. We just got to use them better, and we've got to get smarter, but we've got to reduce the number of animals that get sick, and we've got to work out ways to do that. And there's many ways to do it, and each business is going to be a little different, but each business has got to sit down, work out how much they're using now, and then develop a plan on how they can reduce that going forward, and then review it again after 6 months and say, wow, we haven't done so good, let's look at it again, let's keep on working away at it. Dan, this is a 10-year plan. This isn't 1 or 2 years.
It's awesome. thank you for all you do for PAC. Thank you for what you do globally for beef production. Tremendous veterinarian, tremendous consultant globally, Dr. Kev Sullivan.
Closed captioning brought to you by Ag Promo Source. Together we grow. Learn more at agpromosource.com.